Welcome to Licking Non-Vanilla, a sex-positive hour of talk about kink, sexual mores, and writing dirty words. So grab a cup of cocoa, your favorite easy chair, and the lube as we go sailing into the dark, sweet waters of all things naughty on Licking Non-Vanilla with your hosts Ralph Greco Jr. and M. Christian.
Hey everybody, you have reached Licking Non-Vanilla with Ralph Greco Jr. and
Chris, otherwise known as M. Christian.
And we are doing another call-in show today. We are very lucky to have a guest extraordinaire. It's somebody who both Chris and I are very happy to talk to. And she's waiting on the line right now. And this is Octavia. Hello, Octavia.
Hey there.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Octavia goes way back with some stuff that we may find interesting today. And I think we're going to find interesting today. Octavia was known back in the day, not so far back. How far back, Octavia?
Make me sound ancient over here.
How far back? What was it?
Well, I started in 94 and I was in it for 6 years. So
Now, she means porn.
yeah.
So she was known as Linda.
Linda.
Cinderella. Linda. I don't know where I got Linda from.
Linda Cinderella.
Linda Cinderella. Little Cinderella. Octavia, tell us, our faithful listeners how that came to be, how you got that name.
Well, after being in a car from Texas to California with my then manager and another girl, we were all just out of it, exhausted, and we started to pull up to the agency, to World Modeling, and everybody had their names, and they're like, well, what are we gonna call you? And I'm like, I don't care, I don't care as long as I make money.
Right.
And they were just like, well, you're so little, you look like a little princess. And one of the girl was like, yeah, you look like a little Cinderella doll. I was like, and my manager was like, yeah, that's what we'll call you. And I was like, I don't care.
And from there, history was born.
Yeah, like they could have called me poop on a stick. I didn't give a fuck.
Right.
Show me the money.
Right. Show me the money. Chris, it's funny. The other night, Octavia was on television in one of her non-porn roles, actually, and she was in.
Okay. Oh, cool.
She was in the movie Boogie Nights, Chris.
Right.
Did you ever see that scene that she's in when in the beginning?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, that's just. I'm floored that we have such a celebrity.
I know, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. If for those of you who don't know, Octavia's in the beginning of Boogie Nights. She walks in with the Colonel. She gets out of a limo with the character called the Colonel, and she comes into the party that's in the backyard, in full swing in backyard. And this is kind of where everybody gets introduced to Mark Wahlberg's character. Octavia, you want to tell us a little bit how that happened?
I got a call from the World Modeling, and they were like, do you want to shoot a movie? And I was like, well, what do you mean? No, they said like a real movie. I was like, whatever, right. And I went on the set. Honestly, I went in there thinking this was some kind of independent film that was like going to be nothing. Like, I had no clue until I got to the set, and I was like, holy shit, this is real. Like, I had my own trailer and everything. I was like, look, all right, damn, Skippy. So,
that's cool.
It was just they came in and looked through some books because they wanted some real porn stars in it, and I happen to be one of the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chris, Nina Hartley's in the movie too.
I heard that. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
So they got a young one and an old one.
Right. Octavia, how
me.
many years had you been working in porn by that point?
Like 3. Hold on. Just 4, 5, 6, 3.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah. So I was still kind of
Now, Chris.
new.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut her off.
I said I was still new.
Chris.
Oh.
You go first.
I forgot what I was
so
going to
anxious.
say.
You know what I'm doing? I'm premature ejaculating all over the podcast today. Chris, one of our favorites is in that movie, Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, absolutely.
Oh, I love him.
Chris, we go like way back with him, and I guess everybody does, is Smokey and the Bandits, and all that stuff. So Octavia, tell us a little bit about meeting him.
My gosh.
Burt Reynolds.
Oh, it was like I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like, in one way, it was kind of like meeting going to hang out with your grandfather, because he was just so cool and laid back. But then you're so like stunned because it's like, it's Burt fucking Reynolds, and he's talking to you, and he's telling you stories, and like, patting you on the back and calling you a little bit, and it's just like, what is going on? So,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
very, very surreal.
Wow. What do you got, Chris? What do you want to ask her? I'll let you get in here.
I just think that's absolutely magnificent. I think that's
load.
so wonderful.
It really was.
I mean, you so often hear about celebrities who are jerks. So hearing that they're actually really great people is wonderful.
Oh, it was. I mean, there was only one person in particular that was a jerk on Boogie Nights.
Who will remain nameless.
Yeah.
I can guess. I mean, it's one of those things I think I've heard about that, so I can pretty much guess.
Yeah, it's not a hard jump there, Chris.
He used to be in a band.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. We got it.
There she is.
Oh,
so, Chris, I think we were both getting into writing maybe around the same time she was getting into porn. At least erotic.
I know,
writing,
it's such
right?
a weird coincidence. I love that. I mean, it's just like this weird connection.
Did y'all write some of my porn?
No, I wish we did. I think we found as many big changes over the years in the business.
Oh, God, yes.
And the advent of digital, if nothing else. And Octavia, you're not involved in the porn scene at all anymore. Not for a long time.
No. I'm totally old, retired. Like my videos are like at the doll for like $1 now. Like, oh shit.
So, just from what you can sense about the way things are done now and the way things were done then, what do you think are the big differences in porn?
I mean, I don't know, because I don't talk to anyone. I'm kind of a loner.
Yeah.
But I know when I got out, it was starting to change big time. Like,
okay.
They were starting to ask you to do too many just like crazy things. Like my breaking straw was them asking me to have sex with a midget, and I was like, no. Like, I'm already short.
Yeah.
That's just creepy, no. So it's just, they started asking you to do more things. They just started expecting more from the talent. And, and there was no they didn't increase your pay really that much. And also after being in it for 5.5, 6 years like I was, you start going, well, okay, where is this going to take me? I'm not going to be a director. I'm not going to make a movie. I'm going to, retire and become a techie geek,
Yeah, which is what you did.
Yeah. So, and write a book. Woo! That's all I'm going to do. I mean,
yeah.
That's it. It's just
It's a different time then, Chris, right?
Exactly. Things have changed, and I think getting out after a certain point is always a wise decision anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you kind of have a sense of when things are drying up for you, and you got to get out, And then Octavia, you also talked about the fact that.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say things were. That's the thing, is I still could have probably been in the industry for another 4 years if I wanted to, because I still was getting plenty of work, even not doing crazy shit, because I had been in the industry for so long. So, and I had never been a contract girl. I'd always been because I fired my manager after a few months and became my own manager those years. So, people knew, okay, this is, I don't want to say they didn't fuck with me, but they didn't fuck with me. I got what I wanted. I always got treated pretty well, and I still could have went on. I don't know. It was just kind of like, I guess anything I've ever done in my life, it's like I do it for a while, then I kind of look for something different to do, because I don't know. Maybe I'm OCD or something. I don't know. It's like I gotta do different things. It's like I'm a very big multitasker, and that just wasn't doing it. I wanted to try to do more acting and, go on and do comedy classes and just crap like that, just to broaden my my horizon.
Right.
Like a geek.
Yeah, I mean, and also you didn't particularly, because Chris and I talk about this all the time, because we write a lot of fetish. You didn't get into any fetish work specifically, did you?
No.
No.
Yeah, not with my look.
Well, yeah, I guess we've had this discussion before, Chris, about going against type, because she's quite the little lady, petite and the whole deal. So she won't really fit the leather-clad dom thing,
Exactly.
But I think she could probably play against type. I just don't know how long that would last for,
And as we talked about before too, it's like diversification is also a really good idea, because if something really happens to one part of your quote unquote career, you're kind of stuck. So it's always a good idea to branch out.
Yeah, think about what's next.
Which is always a good idea. Yeah, for sure. Octavia, tell us a little bit about some of those scenes we see in a porn movie we think is what it is, but it really isn't. For instance, the famous or infamous pina colada mix.
Oh my god!
Tell us a little bit. Just give our viewers.
Honestly, I would rather have that amount of jizz coming at me instead of pina colada mix, because that is just. I still, till this day, cannot drink a pina colada, y'all.
Tell our audience what you mean by this, what we're talking about.
Hang on, I get choking up. No, the memory. So when a fellow actor cannot, only has a certain amount, or they want it to be like this big cum load in your face, and of course, no guy comes that much. You'd have to have like 20 guys lined up just jizzing right after another. That ain't gonna happen either. So they do pina colada mix, and because it looks like it in video and from the angle with the lighting and everything. and they just pour it, and it's just like, so it's like you're being waterboarded by a pina colada with a cock over your head.
Fantastic.
It's
But wasn't there an apparatus that they used to use?
yeah, they use this. They have like a little thin tube, like thinner than a straw, and they put it on the side of their dick. And then they have like, you know, a bag or something, or a foot pump. There's different ways they had it, but they would have like a little thing where they could just sit there, squeeze it with their hand, and through the tube, and you know, from the angle, you know, a camera is only on one side.
Yeah.
You know, and it just comes, just like I said, it's like being fucking waterboarded by pina colada with a penis 2 inches away from you. It's scary. Man. It's like, rah!
So you'd rather take a real cum shot to the face.
Seriously. Because you know it ain't gonna be that much.
Right.
Yeah, no.
And I want to know who thought of that, and who actually like sat down and said, we need to find some way of having people come more. I mean, just
oh god, I don't know. Some of the shit they did, it blew my mind. I was just like, all right, how much are you paying me? Okay, let's shoot this shit then.
You know, we've talked a little bit, because Octavia and I have had discussions before, and we should also mention. Let me just mention, you're licking. I'm thinking pina colada mix now. You have
now
reached licking, right? You have reached licking non-vanilla with whoever it is. I don't even know.
Oh no, yeah.
We're talking to Octavia, one of our good friends. And Chris is over there, and I'm over here, and we're just trying not to get hit with pina colada mix. And but Octavia, talk a little bit about how things were kept safe, because we did talk a little bit about before. You and I have talked a little bit about.
You got to be tested like once.
Talk a little bit about that.
When I was in the industry, like I said, I don't know what they're doing today, but. Well, obviously nothing, but,
right.
You know, we would get tested once a month, and, you know, everybody, you know, the directors, you know, they always could track who you'd been working with. So, you know, and, you know, if something happened, you know, they could always go back and go, okay, well, you know, and they'd go back like a couple of months, and they, you know, I don't want to say this word because it's but they would quarantine. God.
Yeah.
They would quarantine the people that were, gosh, I hate even saying this, that were exposed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and they would just, you know, for like a month or 2 months, depending on, you know, how close you were, if you were the person that, you know, depending on the case. And then they would slowly let the people go back to work, but it was mandatory. Like if your test ran out on the 25th and you had a scene on the 25th, you had to have your new test taken on the 25th. Or, oh no, I'm sorry, on the 24th, so you had the results on the 25th. They were really strict.
That makes sense.
Very strict. And it was nice because back then, it makes me sound old, but we're back then.
Well, back then.
You know, most of the actors and the talent, hell, even like the directors and stuff, we only, you know, no one really had, there were not many boyfriends or girlfriends that were not already in the industry or involved in it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So they were always getting tested as well. I think I knew like 2-3 people the entire time that had a boyfriend or a girlfriend that wasn't in the industry. But then again, I didn't know every single person though.
Right. Chris, this is like, so she's talking about early mid 90s. What was the scene like in San Francisco as far as when AIDS got to that point? What were you seeing there? in the fetish community and all that stuff.
Well, it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because I was just thinking that when Octavia was talking, because I was there, and it wasn't as stringent as that, but people were very aware, and people got tested quite often.
Yeah, I guess in any activity where people are being intimate in any kind of way, there's going to be that concern, porn or whatever it is.
Absolutely. And I remember, I had a moment of questionable exposure, and the test normally took I think it was 5 days, and I actually popped for I think it was a 4-hour test or something like that. They're relatively new, expensive.
Yeah, it was a different time then, man. And Octavia, we were talking about the fact that what happened to you specifically was just about near the end or middle for you. That's when people started buying up domain names and all the internet came into it.
Oh,
right?
Gosh. Yeah. Mine was one of the ones that were snatched up. But
and nobody even knew what that was back then, right?
Well, there were some people that did.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, the general. I mean, I don't know when I got aware of computers, but it certainly wasn't in the 90s.
No, it was 96, I think, when my domain name got snagged away from me. And, well, I didn't get snagged away from me. I was trying to buy it, and it was already bought by somebody. But that was 96, and that was right in the beginning when all the adult girls started trying to buy their domain names. 96, 97, that's right when the boom started. And, and then, in 97, I started working, on my own website. So, so that was kind of my transition. So by 97, which I had never worked on computers or even owned one in my life, by 97, I was already doing HTML, graphic design, and everything else.
Very cool.
And Chris, right now, as we know, she has her website's up. She got a bunch of friends and fans out there. And next year, Octavia is coming out with her memoir, right, Octavia?
Yes, sirree.
So I was just going to say that. That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah. I've been working
long time in coming, right?
Long time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then what do you plan? You figure when that book comes out, are you going to do some in-store appearances and video appearances and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I ain't wearing no damn mask to do a to do a book tour. I'm not gonna be there with a mask right. Hell, if I'm gonna do that, I'll hire someone to wear a mask. No one will know who the hell, But if the world's still upside down and cray right now, I'll be doing everything video. A video book tour through my website or something like that. But I'm sorry. I survived cancer as a child. I am not getting sick. I'm quarantining, and everybody's getting out. And I'm
absolutely.
There's a lot of wackadoodles out there too. Putting yourself out there and for making public appearances, you have to be careful anyway.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I've been stalked. There's crazy stuff that's happened. So, yeah.
I mean, you could also always hire extremely talented, good-looking bodyguards. One who lives in Oregon, one lives in New Jersey.
Absolutely. We're very affordable.
We're extremely portable.
Yeah, we'll work for food.
We'll work for food? All right. Good.
Yeah, we're pretty...
Give us a cookie every couple of hours and we're fine.
That's right. Doesn't take much. Yeah. Oh, man. But your story is pretty interesting. You've had quite the interesting life there, dear.
Oh, I know.
And you had some. This is fat. We were wonderful.
Lived about 1 million lives over here. I'm tired. I'm old.
She talks like she's 80 years old, Chris. You know, she's nowhere near that age. She's not even near our age.
I turned 44 this year. I'm so.
Oh my God. Chris, do you remember 44?
No, I don't remember what I did yesterday. I mean,
I remember, Chris, they had a birthday party for me when I was 44, but they had to have it during the day because they couldn't have it at night. There was no electricity.
there you go.
That's how far back we go. She's talking. She's a babe in the woods.
Well, hey, my 44th birthday, we were all quarantined.
Yeah.
So, woohoo! That was fun. Me and
Good
my
times. Oh man. So, Chris, you got anything else for Octavia?
Oh, I think this is absolutely wonderful. I mean, we could go on forever. I mean, it's like you've had such a fascinating life. I definitely want to hear more about the book. I want to hear more about some of your tales about being in the industry and what you've done afterwards. I mean, that's the big thing.
Yeah, Octavia, when you got out of porn, take us a little through what happened there, best you can, if you know what I mean.
So, I joined the circus. Just kidding. No. Oh, shit.
Get shot out of a cannon.
No, so I got out of the adult industry. What did I do? That was a long time ago. Shit, my brain.
You did some comedy work, didn't you? Do some comedy work?
Oh no, I did I took a ton of improv classes at the Groundlings, like for 2 years.
Oh, cool.
I did Pretty Funny Women comedy class for like 3 or 4 times. Because I have stage fright and couldn't get on stage, but I like taking the classes, so Lisa let me come in and just take the classes.
Right.
And then really I immersed myself into computers and the digital world and my social media and and I mean I even got into at one point in time, because I get bored easy, so I started trying to figure out how to do 3D animation and video editing.
Oh, very cool.
And, and that's on top of already knowing graphic design, HTML, and how to do pretty much any type of data entry. I became a very big, giant computer geek. That just kind of I'm just a nerd. I hate it. But I know a lot, so I like it. So I don't mind it. But yeah, I just became like a total techie.
She's one of those typical sexy nerds, Chris. Hair down, hair up in a bun, take it out, glasses off. That kind of thing. Hey,
I don't have to wear glasses. I got LASIK.
I think that's really important.
It is.
But I'll tell you, why don't you go with the fantasy, with the librarian fantasy there for a second.
Yeah, I got plenty of pictures with me with glasses on.
There you go.
As a prop.
Slow down, lady. Yeah, but Chris, we're all part of this now, this tech thing, big or small, right? We got no choice.
So I was in
and that's the thing. It's like once you start to learn computers, it goes from there.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing stopping me. I can do anything. But I was in. So Chris, I was in. I met Jane Fonda as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I was a stand-in for a 14-year-old boy on the movie Georgia Rule with Lindsay Lohan, Felicity Huffman, and Jane Fonda.
Very
and
cool.
Gary Marshall shot it, so I met Gary too.
Oh, that's wonderful. Cool.
Yeah, and I actually met Penny Marshall too because she came on the set one day.
There was I just watched I think ABC a couple of weeks ago had a special on Gary Marshall.
Really?
And went through his whole career and talked about Georgia Rules. They didn't mention you though.
No, I was a stand-in. I was a stand-in for a 14-year-old boy, and when I got hired, the person that hired me was like, okay, just don't do, just, Gary didn't want you because you're a girl. And I'm like, well, yeah.
Right.
And because he was really pissed off that they couldn't find a fucking boy to be a stand-in for a boy. They had to get this girl with long blonde hair. And, and when I got on set, of course, I'm always high, stoned on marijuana. So I'm all like, hey, just looking for food and a corner to sit down in. And I saw Gary over there, and of course, I'm like, hey, kind of like wave at him because I knew he didn't want me. So I kind of did it because I was stoned, and I was like, oh, this will be funny. And I just waved at him. I wasn't even around anyone. It was like I'm sitting in a corner, no one could see me. I look over at him, kind of start waving at him, and then he kind of looks up and looks at me waving at him and kind of squints and smiles. And I just kind of smile and keep waving. He turns away. And then I got up and walked by, and he was like, hey, you're the 14-year-old boy stand-in? I was like, yeah. Sure am. Excuse my boobs. He was like, he looked at me, he just laughed. Yeah, I'm just I say a lot of weird stuff to people because my motto is everybody bleeds red.
That's true.
No. That's very true.
So I treat everybody as an equal.
Now, on that set, you met Jane Fonda, right?
Oh, yeah.
And she was another real cool person.
She was really, it's like Burt Reynolds, number one. Jane Fonda is like right under him. Because she
as far as just
that's
sitting down,
yeah,
talking to you, right?
she sat down with, it's like I was, of course, I'm stoned again on another set. And what am I doing? I'm walking to the food, to the caterer. And as I'm walking,
you got the munchies.
As I'm walking by her, she's like got a little blanket on the front yard, and she's sitting there like eating with her, whoever, one other person. And I'm like walking by, and I see her, and I guess I was really eyeballing her food. Because I was out looking for food.
But the food.
And she just kind of looked at me, and she was like, well, I guess everybody always, aren't you little? Why don't you come here and sit down and grab a bite? I'm like, okay.
Oh.
That's wild.
That's very cool. I love hearing that because like so many times you hear about celebrities being like jerks. It's really nice to hear like they're good people.
Yeah, it's mainly the older ones, like Lindsay Lohan. I don't know about that. She was like, she was nice to me, but you could tell she was a prima donna.
Yeah, it's the ones that have been around a long time that you know how to act, Octavia, tell Chris the story about, and this is in this kind of in the same vein, on Boogie Nights going back and forth to caterer.
All my stories are going back and forth to the caterer. Jesus Christ. I don't know which one.
Well, you told me that as long as you were on the Boogie Nights set, you paid a lot of visits to the caterer, to the point where the caterer said said something to you.
I can't remember what he said. Hold on, what?
Remember, you were stoned quite a bit, and you just kept going back getting food.
Yeah, well, I'm stoned right now. That's probably why I can't remember what he said.
I don't remember what it was. It was just, well, first of all, the Boogie Nights shoot was a long shoot.
That was days and days. That's why it was so cool, because it's like I have my own little trailer. I got to sit in it and smoke that out.
Yeah, and well, Chris, are you a big fan of Paul Michael Anderson or Paul Anderson, whatever the guy's name is?
And
PT.
I'm a little mixed about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some of his films I've liked, some I don't, and but yeah.
I hear
But
you.
he's notorious for shooting scenes over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like like Kubrick was known for that too. It's like
Right.
let's do the 60th take.
And he had a little dance with Burt Reynolds, didn't he, Octavia, over that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't there that day, but you could definitely feel the tension. Whenever, I mean, it was all cool and fun and la-di-da-di, but when we went to shoot, I mean, the scenes, because every scene I was in except for one was Burt was in it, and you could just
Right.
feel like every time he was like, "Okay, let's shoot it again," you could feel Burt just kind of, and PT was just like didn't even have any clue what was going on with he was just shoot again, just roll it again, and they were long shots. That's probably why, Burt got so irritated just because they were such long shots and then reshoot.
Yeah.
Took so long to set it back up. Then you got a 10-minute long or 15-minute long shot. So, yeah, I can see where that'd get irritating to any old vet of the industry.
Yeah, I often wonder, Chris, like what's that done for? Is that because the director has a specific vision, or is he just can't get out of his own ass?
Oh, I agree completely. It's like sometimes it's like I think they're just doing it because they like to be able to be in control or something like that, versus they actually didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah, kind of just swinging his dick around because he can. Yeah. Yeah, but Octavia, you just gave you more time to smoke.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Exactly. That's why I was so happy I had my trailer.
Well, it's nice that he set you up with a trailer,
Yeah, I mean, it was very small, so it's real easy to smoke out. So anytime that anybody came and got me and opened the door, it was like fucking opening the door to Cheech and Chong's trailer. And it's just little old me sitting in there like, rah! And they're like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it."
I gotta get a cookie.
Yeah, let me get a cookie. let me run to the food real quick.
I mean, I guess out of all his movies, and I've seen a lot of them, and I'm like you, Chris, I'm on the fence, but I would say Boogie Nights is my favorite.
That's wonderful. I'm floored. I'm still just absolutely floored talking to you, Octavia. This is so wonderful.
Yeah, she got some good stories, right?
Absolutely.
Well,
and it doesn't stop there,
Octavia,
because I know you're working on other things now.
What?
Well, the book is going to be you're going to spearhead kind of coming back into the mainstream with the book, right?
What do you mean the book's good book?
Well, when the book is released, and you're going to coincide that also, the website will be up and running, and then that's like kind of a juggernaut for you to kind of do what you want to do like in the future, which is help people.
Yeah, it's it's kind of like, okay, it's like I'm just like I'm starting a new life next year.
Yeah.
With my book and my website, and then whatever else I decide to do on top of that, I'll probably sell some merchandise or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm getting old. I got to figure out a way to make money before I become wrinkled.
There you go. But Octavia, because of the childhood ovarian cancer, and a lot of the stuff you've been through, you have a very positive attitude how you want to help women in the future.
Yeah.
Let's just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I want to be able to help women in a lot of ways. Like, foremost, I want to be able to help parents and with kids who have cancer, ovarian cancer in particularly.
Wonderful.
And then I want to help women, get out of domestic bad relationships, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out how to get back on their feet, be independent, and, you know, figure out a way to make money that's legitimate, because there's so many things that you could do. I mean, pretty much there's so many jobs that you could work at home on the, you know, on your computer
Mm-hmm.
with, that aren't, you know, that are just like, you know, data entries type of things like that. Just
Mm-hmm.
to be a positive symbol of, you know, no matter what happens and how many times you kick it down, what you're called by whomever, it doesn't matter. You've just got to be headstrong and know that, I guess, know your shit don't stink and do your thing and
Mm-hmm.
fuck everybody else if they don't like it, because those are just haters anyway. The people that support you are really the only people you need beside you.
There's the message, Chris, right?
Absolutely. I can't agree more. And that's the thing. It's like these days, it's like there's all kinds of possibilities for doing things like doing podcasts.
Yeah. I guess at the end of the day, we always, Chris, you and I especially, and most of the people we know, we just want everybody to have a peaceful existence where they can just do their thing and get along, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we've seen enough people in situations that other people consider bizarre, like the kink world or the fetish world or the porn world or whatever,
Mhm.
to know that everybody's the same. Everybody's got the same ambitions and they want to be accepted. They want to have a good life. So I think to be able to be a positive force in any kind of way is always a good thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need to be more supportive, tolerant, and just, you know, try and help as many people as possible.
Right, right.
Yeah, because this place is going into the shitter.
There you go. Look, at the end of the day, what we don't want is to be rained on with pina colada mix.
Exactly. With a penis
Ew,
2
yes.
inches away from your face.
With a penis, yes, that's the last part of it, Chris. With a penis 2 inches far away from your face. That always has to be put in there.
It has
The
to.
old penis 2 inches away. Octavia, before we leave, tell us what was your favorite thing to do in porn?
Get paid.
Okay.
Kidding.
What a wise ass.
Oh, woman after our own heart.
No, probably
Fair enough.
girl scenes. Girl scenes.
Girl scenes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were easy.
And worst thing?
That's
Anal.
always a pain in the ass.
It is a pain in the ass, isn't it, Chris?
Always a pain in the ass.
We can leave the show on one word. Anal. In fact, you know what, Chris?
When the world comes down to it, it's always about anal.
I think, Chris, what we'll do is we'll talk to our producer and see if he can get a sound clip of Octavia just going with the pause. I didn't hear anything. It was complete silence, and I heard anal. Fantastic. I don't know if this show could have been any more colorful. Oh dear. Okay, Octavia, give out some deets of how people can find you.
Hang on, I'm crying.
Oh.
How can people find me?
Yeah.
littlecinderella.com, but you're not going to get me there because I'm not done with it. So really, you can only find me on like social media, like Facebook and Instagram.
What do they look for? Can they tweet or twat a certain name or anything?
They can twat Linda Cinderella.
Linda Cinderella. What a wise ass.
No.
Come on.
Well, I guess Octavia Hunter. Yeah, I guess I'll have to say my name because my name's going to be on my book. And hell, I mean, honestly, okay, Boogie Nights, Little Cinderella. If you look up Boogie Nights and the cast, it doesn't say Little Cinderella. It says my name.
Okay.
So.
And we could find you in social media that way, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of fans and friends out there that you're in contact with, and I'm sure
Oh,
more
yeah.
people want to contact you.
Yeah, I got a fuck ton of people. They're awesome.
Fuck done, Chris.
Fuck ton.
Chris, how much is a fuck
another
ton?
industry term?
Is that an industry term? Yeah, there's gigabytes, terabytes, and fuck ton. Which not to be confused with shitload.
Yes, not the same.
Oh man. Listen, guys, I don't know where to go into this one. This has been Licking Non-Vanilla. There's I'm Ralph Greco Jr., I think. Over there is who? Who's that?
Chris, otherwise known as M. Christian.
And we've been talking to
Octavia. Come on. Who am I? I got so many names.
and Octavia,
AKA Little Cinderella. Or Linda Cinderella.
Little Linda Cinderella. And before we go, could you just leave us with that? I'm going to give it complete silence, and I want you to say the word for the day. This is the drinking word for the day.
All right.
So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, a little bit of silence, and you give us that last word. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Anal.
Fantastic.
It sounds so deadpan. Anal.
It's just anal. I love you guys. Thanks, Octavia. Thanks so much, honey.
It was absolutely a
Love
blast,
y'all.
Octavia. Thank you so much.
Anytime, y'all. Take
Okay,
care.
Chris, I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And visit us on the web at www.lickingnonvanilla.com.